Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Waki, and today we'll be learning how to make this beautiful turtleneck top with pleated design at the center. Please stick around as we do so, and do not forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. For this project, we will be needing 1.5 yard of crepe fabric and half yard of pleated fabric. I'm starting off by measuring the different parts of my dress. This to help me have accurate measurement and give me a dress that is as close as this one. Alright, I'm beginning by drafting out my pattern. I'm just marking 1 inch from my center front. Once I'm done, I'm measuring my neckline 3 inches and I'm ruling out a straight line for that. Next is my chest width. I've measured my chest width and I'm dividing by 2. I'm placing the measurement here and I'll go down. This is my armhole depth and I'm going to place this measurement and rule a line as shown. Alright, I'm just connecting the lines. I'm going ahead to measure out half an inch from that point, or you can do this by measuring your shoulder length at once. Alright, once I'm done with that, I'm marking midpoints of that armhole line I measured earlier, and I'm also measuring my bust measurements plus half an inch. I've joined this line, and from the armhole point I'm going up by about 1 inch. This is a guide so that it will give me accurate measurement when I'm joining with my French cuff. For the front, I'm just going in by half an inch. Once I'm done, I'm going to join this line. I pause to draw my chest line, which is about 1.5 inches from that armhole line, but it was not really necessary for this project. You are going to I've raised the cuff by about half inch, but you don't need to, and I'm going to join it as shown. It's time to add my bust span measurement, which is 3.5. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to join. This line is going to be a guideline for the addition of width to my fabric. I've connected the shoulder line. I'm adding 1/4 of an inch to my center front so that it will give my blouse an extra width. I've gone ahead to mark my neck depth and neck width, and I'm using 3 inches by 3 inches and joining that together. For the back, I'll use 1 inch. I didn't do that here, but I did it later. Since I've added 1/4 of an inch to the center of my fabric piece, I'm going to shift the shoulder in by the 1/4 inch so that I'll still have the same length. I'm done with my pattern and I'm cutting it out with my scissors. I'm done cutting out the fabric and I'll be measuring 3 inches at the neck level for the guideline of my pleated fabric, and I'll measure 5 inches below. Since the design looks like V-shaped, I'm going to connect this. Please use your long ruler for this, and once I'm done, I'm going to cut this out since this is a guideline for my design. I've cut it open and I'm going to tape the neck part and I'm cutting it out. I'll use this to cut my front bodice. To add width to this front pattern, you can actually do without it and just taping the cardboard by placing it under my pattern piece. the the width at the hem is about 4 to 5 inches. I'm shaping the hem to give me a slight curve, and then I've marked back the 5 inches from the center front. Alright, I've cut it out and I'm just taping the extra fabric to it. I've placed the pattern on my pleated fabric and I'm going to pin it down before cutting out. I'm done cutting out and I've added seam allowances. I've opened it up and this is what it looks like. I used the pattern to cut out the front and I'll be placing it this way with the pleated fabric at the center. I'll fold it over this way, pin and sew on my machine to have this. I'll repeat same for the other side. Like I said earlier, you can add width to your fabric from the pattern by just placing it on the material directly instead of putting a paper like I did for the front. So I'm just pinning it down. I've already measured about 5 inches as the space between those two places, between the pattern, and I'm cutting this out. Well, to add your seam allowances like added for the front. Once I'm done, I'm moving ahead to cutting out the neckline, and I used 1.5 inches by 3 inches. I've drafted out my pattern for the sleeves already and I'll be placing on my fabric and cutting out. I'm using a straight sleeve pattern for this and I'm not shaping at the wrist at all because I'll be gathering the sleeves later on. You can as well open up your sleeves to add more width like I did for the front and the back bodies, but I didn't want to do so. Once I'm done with the sleeves, I've notched it at the center so it will help me sew my sleeve on the main bodice. For the band, I'm just measuring my wrist. I've folded in my thumb and I have about 8 inches, so I'll be cutting out. I'm making use of 10 inches by 6 inches. You should measure yours and use the measurements you prefer. I'm cutting it out. When you are done, you're going to fold this into two and stitch as shown on the 6 inches part. You can iron first before you do so. I've stitched my front and back bodies at the shoulder. This was after I joined the pleated fabric for the fronts. I've made a long stitch on my sleeve close to the hem and I'm just pulling the thread to make some gathers. I'm just gathering it up to the band width, which is about 10 inches. Once I'm done, I'll pin it and I'll take it back to the machine to sew. I'm done sewing and it's time to attach the sleeves to the unfinished front bodies. So I'm notching at the shoulder, which will be a guide to pin the notch part of my sleeve. I've placed the sleeve at the notch points and so it's time to finish up our neckline. So the first thing I'm doing here is to measure around my neck and note these measurements. I have about 10 inches and that's the width I'll be using for my collar. Let's move to the drafting. Please note that the 10 inches was when I measured the collar in half, but the total will be 20 inches. And while drafting, I'm drafting the half pattern. I'm starting out by measuring the width, and I'm taking it 1 inches from the bottom. This okay, I've measured the back neck width, which was about 4 inches, and I'm connecting the line. Now this is the straight collar, but we want it slightly curved, so I'm taking it half inches from below up and half inches up to from above, and I'm joining it to the 4 inches line, which is our back neckline. My collar is done as it is, but we need to add seam allowance around it. I'm adding half an inch all around so that it will help as it will serve as my sewing allowance. When I'm done with that, I'm just placing it on my fabric and I'll be cutting it out. While cutting, try to make the top collar, that's the part that will be showing, to be about 1/4 inch longer than the back collar. That's the side that will not be showing on the fabric or the under collar. I'm placing the front to cut out the back pattern piece or the under collar. I'm just trimming to have a neat finish. Once you're done, just place the fabric together and sew. For the slits I made earlier, I made a slit about 5 inches at the back. I'm using a bias tape to sew on it in order to conceal that raw edge. I'm just pinning it down and I'm going about to the edge of the fabric. I'm done sewing the bias and I'm just cutting out the excess. I'm done sewing my turtleneck collar and I'm notching it to reduce the bulk. I'll proceed to top stitching the fabric. Once I'm done, I'm just going to flip over and sew the edge. When I'm done sewing, I'm cutting out the seam allowance and I will turn it out. I'm going to notch the center of my neckline so it will help me to place the collar at the accurate position. I'm placing the collar on it and pinning down, and I'm going to sew round. I'm done stitching and I'll add buttons and make a buttonhole there. Before doing that, I'm going to weave and top stitch my dress and I'll show you the final results. But before you do that, I'm just cuffing the lower party bits and pinning it. I'll show you what it looks like in a bit. This is what it looked like. I tried it out and it fits perfectly. Thanks for watching.